Hey y'all, welcome to Other Realm Studio. I'm Paula and I am back again on another night that does not begin with W at just past 9 o'clock. I had a little bit of setup to do. And today we are working on flats for the last couple pages of the bonus material. It's going to be done in time. I know it. It's going to happen. So let's see. Let's get my pen to behave. And we'll just color in. I've been experimenting a bit with the textures for the pathway here. This road that leads through town. I started with like a dirt path, and then I decided to try it. You can see a little bit of the remnants of that over here. And then I decided to see how it would look as a stone path, because of course they've built it on the top of a mountain. One thing about mountains, there's plenty of rock. I imagine while they were digging out for their foundations and clearing out trees, they came across a great many rocks. So either you pile them all over the place or you do something useful like build a road. Another thing that I've worked on with this, undo. Another thing that I've worked on for a little bit is adjusting the shading, because I wanted to be careful to not overload the saturation and also to watch my contrast. I kind of felt that leaving all these trees that dark green was very overpowering for my scene down here, which I think I finished the flats on that one. Well, it could still use a little bit of texture work in the fur again, but that's going to have the lattice over it like that. Really, I think that blackleading would work. I haven't worked on exactly how I'm going to color that, but it's on a separate layer, so it can just go over this piece of the panel. And let's see, what else have I done? Yeah, and I've erased a couple of layers of the saturation on the green. So it does have a slightly gradiated effect. Gradiated? Is that a word? Sounds about right. As you can see here, this is the same green that I picked up with the color picking tool, and it is significantly darker than what we have over here. Okay. So this is going to be a lot of tiny, nitpicky detail. Just to neaten up the little artifacts of where I've experimented with the color, where I've just used the paint bucket to fill in larger blocks. It's not too bad though. It's all work that needs to be done. And it is a lot easier than having to color in all this by hand, you know, on real paper. Which today I did get in some work on some real paper. I was working on, let's see, click that up there for a second. I was working on some toned paper today, doing some warm-up sketches. As usual, hated my first sketch. Well, maybe hate's a bit of a strong word for it, but I wasn't feeling great about that one, so then I decided to do something a little more fun for the next one, and then I posted that one on Instagram. Yeah, since we were out and about earlier today, I couldn't do any of the flatting today until pretty much just now. I mean, I did get in a few minutes work before lunch today, but yeah, sometimes it's just hard to find time. Even if you're very aware of how fast the time is going by. So the Kickstarter for Soulbound Issue 1 Adrift is now at 38 or 39 backers, depending on how you count them. I'm not quite sure what's going on with the two separate counts. On the front page of it, it says 38 backers, but then when I look at my number of backers, there's 39 of them. So I'm going to use that number when I determine how many pages of the field guide to include. I'll just go with the higher number. So for every 20 backers, I add another page. So we are on track to have 2 pages of the Other Realm Studio field guide with a sketch and a description of some of the creatures in the Other Realm. 2 pages isn't a lot, so I would really love to have a few more backers on the Kickstarter so I can pad that out a little bit. But at least that's not going to be something that has to be printed at the same time. Well, not even printed, really. It doesn't have to be ready at the same time as these pages. It'll be a separate document, so I'll be able to tidy up my sketches and do a really nice write-up on those. I mean, so that'll be what I'm doing after I finish the after I finish running the Kickstarter. Goodness, these are tiny little details. I just love these houses. They're so cute. kind of a traditional English cottage. Not necessarily built with a blueprint in mind, but very sturdy, very cozy little places. So, and the other thing, we are almost to 2 pages for the field guide, and we are at $670 funded. Now, I only asked for $500, so I'm just so happy and so grateful for all of you for coming out and supporting my project and for showing interest in the book. I hope that when you get it, you just love it. And I hope you're excited about the rest of the series. And what I've got is a really good start. And it's only going to get better. Let's see. I will probably go over these again as I'm working with the other colors. But for now, what I'm going to do is just stick to the dark brown for the roofs and the woodwork. Let me just use the straight line tool on that. There. For some reason I couldn't draw a straight line. So let's see what else is going on. Okay, so this right here, I've decided this is the larger building. It's going to be able to accommodate more guests. So this one is going to be the inn. I was debating whether or not to draw an extra sign somewhere, but I don't think I need to. I might change my mind. So one of the interesting things about coloring, especially in this early phase when what you're doing is just flatting and filling in the colors where they belong, you get to look closely at everything and think about how it works with the story. And it's not all just about, you know, making things, staying in the lines and occasionally filling in where the lines are a little sketchy. But you're also adding to the story. So I'm thinking about what color the lumber is going to be and what sort of materials that the houses are made of and what sort of history they'll have in this area, because this is this is an alternate universe where kind of all the different eras from our world get mixed up and dropped in. So there can be a lot of influences. And also it makes the art very interesting. So I'm really enjoying getting to look at all the little details that Mia's put in here. You know, up close. I mean, maybe if it was my own line art, maybe it wouldn't be this interesting. But, you know, since I haven't already drawn it once, it's pretty interesting to color. Because there are some things that that come up. See this right here? I think is the roof to another house out in the woods. Unless it's a rock. I mean, I could pass it off as a roof, but it's probably an outcropping of rock. Let's see. Yep, that looks more believable. I didn't really give me a lot of direction on this. I did do my own sketches, but my sketches were terrible. Well, alright. My sketch for page 3 was pretty good. Not 3. The third page that I sent, but it'll be page 6 actually. That one was pretty good. I gave that one a lot of thought. But for this one, I had a much more vague idea for this page, and it showed. It really did. But Mia's a very good sport, and she paid attention to what I wanted and interpreted things and used her own style to make it actually look good, and really, I couldn't be happier. So this is actually, I think, quite a well-off little town. Because everyone has these leaded windows. Almost everyone. So, let me see. I'm going to have to come back to this and straighten out which part is supposed to be the tree and which part is supposed to be house right here. just a little bit iffy. But I am working like right up against it. Okay, let me get back to the color I was working in. Have I gotten all this? So let's see. I need to do this page and what's going to be the new page 3, because those two have dialogue. And then the 6th one, I can save it for last. Oh. Because it doesn't really have dialogue. So I don't need to hurry up and get that one over to Wes. I mean, I will, because he's doing my formatting, but I don't have to get it to him in a hurry for him to letter it also. See, come down here. These look like staples. So I may have run out of people to tell about the Kickstarter and the comic. I don't know. But if you're watching and you haven't run out of people to tell about the Kickstarter and the comic, please do help me tell people who might possibly be interested in it. Because the more readers, the better. If I have more readers, then I have a much better chance of getting all the issues done in a timely manner. And I will get them done. I have not gotten this far on my own just to quit now. Or at any foreseeable point in the future until this series is done. But y'all are gonna hate me if I end all these on cliffhangers, so it's best for everybody if we get more readers and build up some momentum. Oh, let me see. I had these a slightly darker yellow and, well, yellow, kind of. And I was thinking of doing this side that darker color. But I really should save that for shading. If I don't save that for shading and I need to go back and correct it, then I won't know what layer I'm working in. And that will take a while to sort out, and I really don't have the time to waste on it. So I need to at least attempt to do things right. So I've been thinking about the particular dilemmas faced by indie creators in comics and in other media. And I don't think I have it quite settled in my mind enough for a blog post yet, but I probably will soon have something to write about that whole situation. There's a lot of things that go against people deciding to become independent creators rather than gunning for that job at Marvel or DC or IDW or even like Dark Horse or Top Cow or whatever. So there's a huge difference between doing something only for yourself and doing something for even a smaller publisher. Now, I'm going with a small publisher for my superhero novel, which will be coming out from Silver Empire Press. And I'm really excited for it. It's currently in edits right now, so I haven't gotten it back to do the corrections and all the little stuff that's really hard to keep track of. But when I do, it shouldn't be too difficult. I mean, I did major in English in college, and I graduated with honors. So I am actually pretty good. As in, much better than any of my teachers expected me to be. At things like, hang on, I'm talking really slow because filling in these tiny little spots. I don't know why it makes me talk slower. But yeah, making edits. So I'd get something back, English teacher or a creative writing teacher, bled all over it, And I would take their suggestions and I'd see what direction they were going and I'd push it further, like you should do, so that they'd be reading something fresh every time. And that's what I intend to do when I get my edits back on Penance Copper, which I don't know if that's going to be the final title of it, but that's the name of my main character. So it is kind of weird though, that my first novel, I'm doing a genre that's typically handled with comic books, and my first comic, I'm doing a genre that's typically handled with novels. What can I say? I just can't be normal. So let me see. What am I working on now? Am I on gray already? Probably. I know this is very tiny, painstaking work. Let's see. That was a darker gray. Was it 2 shades or 1? There. This is the kind of stuff, changing up the shades that I'm using, this is the kind of stuff that's going to come back and bite me when I go to do my shading, and then I have to come back and correct things. Oh, I forgot this. There, for some reason the paint bucket had decided that that should be grass when I did not want it to be grass. It's clearly meant to be a house, or part of the house. So pretty soon I'm going to have to go through all my files and make sure everything's named in order, so it'll be easy to do, or easy to to sort everything so that the pages can be printed in order. That was weird. Why did that undo? Okay. This is so many tiny little details going on. see, and that should be brown. Okay, yeah, I need to fix up these trees and blend through a little bit more of this gently. Alright, let's zoom out and see if we can tell what I've done. Alright, so the houses are looking much more complete. Yeah, this fortress up here still does need some work, and then I'll come back in and shade it once I get the trees. I'm deciding on the time of day. And then the second page, this one should look familiar. So this one's already been lettered. This isn't the lettered version, but it's ready to go. And then this is our new page 3. Which leads us in, this page leads us in much better to page 4. Which I don't have the page for this side. Set up here. But then here's our last page of the prologue, which this one's done, also lettered. I do need to check and make sure that all the dialogue's on that one. So I'll need to see Wes about that, or, email him about it. Oh, hey Madonna, I just now saw your comment. Yeah, this turned out to be a really cute little village. And, they get to live outside a fortress, and if there's ever an attack, they can go into the courtyard and shelter. They have some soldiers. So yeah, I need to neaten up these trees a good bit, and a little bit more of the grass and the stone, but the houses themselves are pretty good. Well, that and the fortress. Let me zoom in on that again. Alright. Don't see how I missed this one, but I did. It's alright though. Didn't miss it for long. So let's see, I was also thinking of coloring in the windows. See, this one right here at the end has a nice warm light. I might go on and copy that on all of them. So I can't really use the paint bucket tool to fill in these because they've got all the little crisscross lines in them for the window panes. I mean, I could outline and select them and then color them in so that I don't have to be as careful to stay inside the lines of the windows. But honestly, I think that would take more time than just being careful with my lines in the first place. Okay, that might be all of them that needs light in the windows. So I'm still kind of wondering whether I should go with this texture for the roads. It's not a cobblestone texture. It's actually more of a crack texture. Little crackle thing up here in the decoration subtool. On the other hand, it does give a pretty good impression of the edges of a great many rocks put together. I couldn't really find a good cobblestone one in here. So yeah, at some point I should probably buy more effects and tools. So that I can do different stuff with this, but first I have to know what I want. And I'm not there yet. Okay, well, it's about time for me to go. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you keeping me company. I'm looking forward to having my comic printed and in my hands and in your hands too. That it's all going to be happening so soon. So, man, I just can't believe it. It's like I've been working with things that only exist in my imagination forever. And now they're finally becoming real. This is awesome. Okay, so thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the other realm. Good night.